Today's video, I'm going to be talking about the importance of having a good budget. Now, a good budget, what does that mean? Well, typically what we do is we look at 3 years past historic experiences of both your income and your expenses. What is a budget? A budget is something that allows you to be able to determine how you're going to run your building financially from the standpoint of all aspects of your building. And that takes a lot of time to be able to do. You don't want to just hope that you have enough income to cover the expenses. In addition, there's always going to be repairs and projects and utilities and all these other type of things that you have to account for. So how do you do it? Well, historically, like I mentioned, you look at least 3, sometimes of our bigger associations will do 5 years of historic experiences. We're going to look at averages. We're going to look at trends. We're going to see if it's constantly growing and increasing in costs. For example, inflation alone could be 3 to 5%. So what we'll end up doing is we're going to build that in. So even if you don't know your new policy for insurance, you should build in a little bit higher. In addition, we're going to watch those budgets and expenses and to be able to see where we can save money. A lot of times when we take over a new property from another management company, we're going to go line by line by line. We're going to look at where those expenses are, see what we can bring back into line. But for any of our existing condo associations, what we do is we sit down with the trustees and we really sit and try to plan out for the next year. And we say, hey, prior planning prevents poor performance, right? So if the trustees really want to work on porches or do a painting project, are those factored in? If they aren't going to be factored in, are we going to do an assessment? Or we're going to do some sort of loan or anything else like that that might be outside of the budget. The budget is typically just day-to-day operating expenses. As I mentioned, utilities and basic repairs and income and whatnot. So we want to make sure that throughout the year, we're looking at that budget and comparing it against the actuals. But our actual budget creation happens in almost the last quarter of the year. We're going to sit down and we're going to go through every single month of it and to be able to see what those expenses are. And then we propose a budget to you, the trustees. And we want to say, hey, great, look, even at the end of the year, if we budget everything and the budget's just like planning a picnic, you never know what happens with the actual weather itself, we're going to be at a positive. And that's what we want to see. We want to make sure that we're not running at a negative from the get-go and saying, well, if everything goes perfectly, you're still going to be losing money. And when I say losing money, that just means eating into your operating account. And if your operating account has a huge surplus, great, but at the end of the day, you never want to run in a negative. And even if you do, what you want to do is make sure that your current owners actually pay at the end of the year to bring you back up to par.